Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of our EAFC 25 career mode here with Southampton. We return after a pretty tricky run of form in the previous episode, which saw us knocked out of the Champions League in the quarter-final stage, losing by a narrow goal to nil over two legs to Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. We also had a couple of slip-ups in the league, losing at Crystal Palace and then draws against Wolves and Leeds, which has seen us drop to third in the table. But we've got the chance to make it right today. FA Cup semi-final coming against Crystal Palace at Wembley. As I just mentioned, they beat us just last episode in the league, but our first trip to Wembley as we look to book a return appointment for the FA Cup final at the end of the season. We'll also have, I think, 4 of our remaining 5 games in the Premier League. We will leave matchday 38, tricky game away at Anfield, for the season finale next episode. But loads to crack on with our first game coming at Wembley as we take on Oliver Glasner's side, looking to reach the final and our first domestic final of the save. Come on, you Saints. Yeah, guys, our first visit to Wembley in the save, and it comes against a side that beat us less than a month ago in the save at Selhurst Park in the previous episode. Brian and Burmo's goal separated the two sides. We've been on a poor run of form, but our best result in the last month or so did come against Tottenham in the FA Cup in the previous episode. Last round quarter-finals, beat them by 2-1 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We need to put things right today after a bit of a collapse in the previous episode. Knocked out of one of the 3 competitions we were going for, but still a chance today to make it to the FA Cup final and compete in the Premier League as Archer fires the first effort of the game high and wide. Promising start this from the Saints, just keeping it nice and patient. I think one of the things I was doing wrong last episode was just trying to force things. As Maximan looked to step inside. That was a beautiful piece of skill. It'll come back to Stein. Great chance this. And it's over the top. I think David Raya got a touch on it. Eze out wide to Jolly. Now Marquinhos stepping into midfield. Phillips forward to Mateus França. Downs gets a toe on it, but couldn't keep hold of it. And Gavin Bazunu back in between the sticks for the cup today. Makes his first stop of the game. Pretty comfortable one, straight down his throat. There's a lovely ball forward to Mbermo. Worried every time he picks it up. Brilliant ball through, and there's Taylor with a brilliant piece of defending, throwing himself in front of that shot. And now we come the other way. Stein looks for Cam, and Archer in behind. Archer does brilliantly, but Marquinhos stands him up well. I know a few of you guys have been calling for Cam to get some more minutes. He's still got a big place to play in this team, as Yusuf looks for Archer, and again he's crowded out. Second half underway here, and just speaking of Cameron Archer there, just got kind of outmaneuvered on that previous attack. But with Palace playing 3 central defenders and wing backs, I am tempted to get Marcus Leonardo on up top with Cameron Archer to give him some extra support up there, as Stein couldn't lay it off to St. Maximan. Yeah, if we go on much longer, still deadlocked at 0-0, I'm very tempted to get Marcus on the pitch alongside Cameron Archer, as I think with the 2 systems that will really help us going forward. But here comes St. Maximan again. Beats Todibo. And Archer, well, he might not need Marcus Leonardo, because Cameron Archer smashes in the opening goal here at Wembley. I said he's still got a place in this team, and that's because he's had a fantastic goal-scoring season under the arch at Wembley Stadium. St. Maximan rolls it off. He takes his time, and it sits up beautifully for him, but what a rocket into the back of the net. David Raya, no chance. Saints in the lead. Jonathan David. And then Burmo. Oh, it's a penalty. It's a penalty. And it's one of those where I'm trying to block the shot. It's a last-ditch tackle. And he does get there late, but yeah, it is a foul. Gavin made the save. But Jonathan David with the chance. David, well, Gavin goes the right way. But Johnny David finds the back of the net. And just after Cam gives us the lead, his opposite number 9 pegs us level. And now I am making that change. I'm going old school 4-4-2. A couple of other changes as well. But I'm getting Marcus Leonardo up top with Cam. Because I do think against this back 3... having 2 up against them might cause Palace some issues. That's a nice run. And there is Cameron Archer. It's off the woodwork. Now Taylor into Marcus Leonardo. Deflected off the woodwork again. And cleared by Crystal Palace. In the space of a few minutes, we've hit the woodwork twice. As we go in the hunt for that goal to give us our lead back. So unlucky from the Saints. But the only problem with this formation is it is more attacking, and Mbermo is onside. Gavin with the stop, and again, what a brilliant save. And Gavin Bazunu, well, I have to say, thankfully it fell to Tyrick Mitchell. Probably not the man you would choose in that position, but Gavin still had to make the stop. Now we come the other way with Archer. Archer's shot blocked. And it won't drift behind for the corner as it's kept in play. This FA Cup semi-final has burst into action. Well, there is the whistle at Wembley, and we are heading for an extra time period. This game has been open since we changed to that 4-4-2. Marquinhos with a couple of brilliant bits of defending at the back for the Eagles. But Jonathan David's penalty not long after Cam had given us the lead means that we are heading for an extra 30 minutes and potentially spot kicks. Oh, what a ball that is. And Burmo brings it down beautifully and looks to take on the fresh Livramento, and he's just breezed past him. Swings the cross in. Oh, Solé with a terrible clearing header. And I said somebody might win it, and it might be Crystal Palace. And we just cannot win a trophy in this save. Into the 4th season, we've got a class team, but we just cannot do it. Gavin beaten before he even sees it. And I said this was our best chance at a trophy. We could be heading out at the semi-final stage. We've got a big, big uphill task here if we are to save ourselves. But there is St. Maximan, his shot blocked. Marcus Leonardo wins it. Nathan Teller's put it wide. Eze into Mbermo, dispossessed. Ward-Prowse forward. Marcus Leonardo does well. Gets it back. Marcus Leonardo! We're heading to penalties. We might still be heading out with our record, but Marcus Leonardo, our top scorer, has given us the chance on the spot kicks. Yeah, I'm not feeling too confident, to be honest, guys. Looking at those penalty stats for the Eagles as well, I'm happy with my first 2, Leonardo and JWP. I trust them. Beyond that, I don't know, Gomez maybe, Edozie, not too much confidence, Yusuf, St. Maximan, I don't know, man. I'm not feeling confident. Johnny David going the same way. No, he goes the opposite way. Marcus Leonardo first up for the Saints. Has to score. That's a lot of power, and he roofs it. One apiece as Mbermo. Oh, Gavin's so close to getting there. JWP switching it up. Ward-Prowse. I said I trust my first 2, and they both score. Eze. Gavin gets there and gives us an advantage. Now Gomez has to score. Angel Gomez just about finds the side netting. James Maddison scores, sends Gavin the wrong way. Sam Edozie sends David Raya the wrong way, and we're on the brink. We are on the brink. And Gavin has the chance to be the hero. It's Malcolm. And he sends Gavin the wrong way. But still, we have the chance. Yusuf and Diashime, the unsung hero of this team, has the chance to be the hero. Yusuf scores! And Southampton are heading back to Wembley for the FA Cup final. And I'm so glad it's Yusuf. He is the unsung hero. You don't see most of the work that he gets through because it's just the dirty work, winning the ball back and setting us on the counters. But this is his moment. I love this man. Yusuf and Diashime with the winning penalty at Wembley. It's heartbreak for Palace, who were minutes away from being there themselves. But we will be back to take on either Newcastle United or Liverpool. What a semi-final. Absolute drama. Marquinhos can't believe it. But the Saints are heading to the FA Cup final. Oh man, that late Marcus Leonardo goal now means even more as Chelsea have played and won. Wow, they are really running away with it now. They've come from nowhere, Chelsea. Fair play to them if they are to go on to win a big win away at Villa Park. Spurs drew again and look as if they're out of the title race, and Liverpool did win against Arsenal to keep their slim hopes alive. But who's it going to be in the FA Cup final for Southampton? My money would be on Liverpool, and it is the Reds. Arne Slot's side, that's another route into European football for them as well. Of course, they're competing in the Premier League for Champions League football, but a win in the FA Cup does of course secure Europa League football. But Liverpool against Southampton in the FA Cup final, 13th of May. I hope that's not on a Friday. But what a way that will be to close out the season, as Southampton will be heading back to Wembley for the FA Cup final. But attention turning back to the Premier League. We host Aston Villa, who Chelsea have just beaten. This is our game in hand on the Blues, so to close the gap back to 2, we have to ensure we return to winning ways. We've been in a poor run of form in the Premier League, and we need a victory here, or it might be Chelsea's title to lose. Come on, you Saints. That FA Cup final is going to come in the next episode as part of the season finale. As I say, due to the power of editing, you're not going to see it until after we have wrapped up today's episode. So yeah, going to keep that a secret for you until the next episode. So Maximan forward to Marcos Leonardo, the hero of Wembley. Still Marcos. Through to Stein. Lovely build up, and he's got the finish as well. Brilliant from Sem, who's been going through a bit of a goal drought, with Emi Martinez rushing out towards him. He picks out the bottom corner beautifully, and the Saints do lead to keep the pressure on Chelsea and Manchester City. 90th minute, just one added on. That should do it as we send Aston Villa back home, and we do grind out the narrow 1-0 victory, doing enough to keep the pressure on. It's no longer in our hands. Chelsea in the driver's seat, but all we can do is win our games, put the pressure on, and that's exactly what we've done today against Aston Villa. A pretty poor game after that crazy FA Cup semi-final, but I think the boys were just absolutely gassed mentally and physically. But nonetheless, we get the job done on the South Coast. So, scores on the doors to close out the month of April. Manchester City won in the early kickoff at the Vitality. Chelsea beat Burnley at the same time we beat Aston Villa. And Liverpool and Tottenham also both won. But Chelsea have played a game more than ourselves and City. But if we both win, we can cut it to 2. Chelsea, no, they just need to win their final 3 and they will be crowned Premier League champions, I think for the second time in this save. But for us and Manchester City, all we can do is put the pressure on in our final 4. We'll jump into our next game as we travel to the G-Tech to take on Brentford, currently sat in mid-table with very little to play for, as Man City host Leeds in a similar position. Chelsea hosting Newcastle in what could be a tricky game for Maresca's side, where we're hoping we might see a slip-up. Come on, you Saints. And now Prados, nice football, and Pepe, that's a great tackle by Solé, but we've not cleared, and Brentford lead. And I just think mentally we can't deal with it. We just cannot deal with the Premier League. Gabriel Peck with the goal. Downs beaten in the corner, ball into Ricardo Pepe. That's a brilliant save by Muric to keep us in the game. Right on the hour mark, if we do end up getting something out of this, we might look back to that moment, because that is a big stop by the Kosovan. Oh, danger. Look at the man over. Chance for 2. Pegged back to Keane Lewis Potter. And Muric keeping us in it once again. Edozie to Gomez and Chaibi. Chaibi still. Penalty. What an absolute mess that was. It will be Cameron Archer. And Archer does score right into the top corner. Keeper goes the right way. And Cam will ensure that we don't suffer our 3rd defeat in the Premier League this season, but it's going to be in vain. Southampton going mad, but it's not the result that we needed. A point is not good enough, and it's the same old story. Too many draws in the Premier League, and that has been the difference between us winning the title and falling short. Don't you dare, Brentford. Don't you dare. I said, don't you dare, Brentford. I said, don't you dare, Brentford. I don't believe it. Give the title to Chelsea, man. Give the title to Chelsea. Man, I'm sat here dumbfounded. We got an FA Cup final to come in a week's time. We've got absolutely no chance. Carbon copy of the first goal. Failed to clear. And we've lost it. There's Gabriel Peck once again. And I think Chelsea beat Newcastle as well at the Bridge. They did. What a run they have been on in the second half of the season. Manchester City can still cut the gap to 3. But for us, it's pretty much done. We have to win all of our remaining 3, and we need Chelsea to lose their remaining 2. It's not going to happen. And we've just got to pour everything we've got into the FA Cup final. Of course, that comes in just a week's time in game, but you won't be seeing the result or the gameplay until the season finale in the next episode. The power of editing, I'm going to make you wait, but we will close out our Premier League fixtures today. I don't really think there's too much more to play for. It's pretty much done. I'd like to go out with a couple of wins and much better form, but yeah, the form we've been in recently, it's done. The Premier League's done. I'm sorry, guys. I thought we were outsiders all along, but yeah, it's definitely gone now, and it might not even be Man City that we lose it to, with Chelsea looking the favourites. It was always a pipe dream. It was our end goal, but yeah, I don't think we're quite there just yet. Yeah, with the FA Cup final to come in just a few days' time in game, I've put a really weak lineup out there. You can sort of tell now that we are waving the white flag. But you've got to remember that the board only wanted us to finish in a top 4 spot this year. It was my personal objective to try and compete with Manchester City for the title. And we've done that. We have done that. We've pushed them all the way to the end. And it might end up being Chelsea that win it anyway and not Manchester City. But regardless, we were in a title race. We pushed them as far as we can. We just don't quite have the star quality and the depth to do so just yet, and to win multiple major honours. We've still got a chance to win the FA Cup, of course, against Liverpool, where I think on the form we've been in, we will probably be underdogs heading into that. But a one-off game at Wembley, anything can happen. I'd love to end the season off with a couple of victories as Kimpembe gets under that and heads over. But yeah, a really weak lineup with the FA Cup final in mind. Well, guys, this has been a terrible game here at St Mary's. We're just playing so poorly at the moment. This is probably the worst game of FC 25 I have played. My passing's been shocking. I've not created anything. Literally all game I've just been going around and around in circles, not going anywhere. I've just called on some subs to try and win us the game as Edozie nearly got in, but honestly we don't deserve to win it. We've been awful, the game's been awful, and the title's over. Yeah, honestly guys, the worst game of FC 25 that I have played. Boos around St Mary's. I don't think the fans would be booing. I think they'd still be applauding the effort we put in, but we know that we cannot win the Premier League title now. It will either be Manchester City or Chelsea. The first horse has fallen. And to be honest, in the form that we're in, I don't think we've got any hope in the FA Cup final. We've got 2 games to close out the Premier League season, and I'm just hoping for some slightly better performances. I just need this season to end now, honestly. So time for our penultimate game of the season. Manchester City have taken it to the final day with wins against Liverpool and Arsenal. Chelsea did also beat Forest though, which means it is still in their hands. And a win on the final day at home to Bournemouth will see them crowned Premier League champions once again. For us, although not a huge deal to play for, we can secure 3rd place with a victory here. And there's actually still a chance that we finish outside of the top 4, which is something I hadn't really considered. So at home to Fulham, our final home game of the season, I'd love to pick up the victory after that disappointing 0-0 draw against Norwich and make sure we wrap up Champions League football for next season. Come on, you Saints. Good ball. Marcus, Leonardo. Defenders had to be careful. It's Tino Livramento. Denied his first goal since returning to the club. Kudus wins the header and Marcus Leonardo on the spin. Onto the left peg, Marcos Leonardo. Well, there is our goal, and we've been dominant in the opening 15. I'm sorry if I seem a little bit downbeat, guys, but honestly, it's been such a tricky run for the Saints, and I just want to make sure we end the season, or at least our home season, with a victory. Tricky game away at Anfield on match day 38. Where with little to play for, I'll just make plenty of changes. But our final home game of the season, I want to make sure that we bow out with a victory. Chahibi into Marcus Leonardo. It's 2. Just like that, a quick fire double for the Brazilian. He's not going to win the Golden Boot this year. He's not really been in the running, but obviously he joined a little bit late. He missed the first few games where Cam was given the nod to lead the line, and he struggled in his first few months. But I really think if we stick with him next year, we keep the faith in the Brazilian, I do think he's developed into a number 9 that's good enough to lead us to a Premier League title. He might be in for a hat-trick here. Stein into Mohamed Kudus. Leaves Sessegnon in his wake and then wins the penalty. Brilliant feat by Kudus. Yellow card for Sessegnon. And Marcus Leonardo will have the chance from the spot to complete a first half hat-trick. And he can go both ways, Marcus Leonardo. And there it is. It's a 32-minute hat-trick for Marcus Leonardo. I think that is the fastest hat-trick I've scored in FC 25. And, well, we are just running riot. Are we on to beat our current record win in the Premier League of 5-0 against West Ham? If we keep attacking with intent, then there's every chance we could beat that. But Marcus Leonardo, hat-trick already. Saints flying. Oh, that's a naughty tackle, that. That could be a red, you know. That could be a red right at the end of the first half. Crowd chanting for a red, and it is. Carlos Perez, what a needless tackle just over the halfway line. His side already 3 goals down. That's naughty, that. And if we want to, we can really push on for more goals here. Well, that's going to do it here at St Mary's, guys. Second half was pretty quiet, and although I kept trying to add more goals, we weren't really as clinical in the second half. Didn't really have many chances. Dominic made a few saves from range, but all the damage done in the first 32 minutes, really. Marcus Leonardo with the hat-trick takes the match ball, and a nice way for Southampton to bow out in front of our home crowd. Well, guys, we will close with the final game of the season. Chelsea and Manchester City have taken it to the final day. I'd expect both of them will probably win, which will mean Chelsea will be crowned champions. Even a point won't do it due to the goal difference swing. So they do need to win to guarantee it. We are deadlocked in third. Liverpool and Spurs can still jostle for points and the final Champions League spot. 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th all still up for contention, so lots of movement potentially in the European places, and Brentford wrapping up the top 10. Newcastle, Brighton, Wolves, Leeds, Villa all pretty comfortable in the bottom half of mid-table. And Forest and, well, actually Forest are safe. Fulham not safe just yet. If they lose and Burnley win on the final day, then they will leapfrog them, with Norwich and Bournemouth already down to the Championship. So final game of the season and the episode. Season 4 coming to an end, with the FA Cup final to come in the next episode. But our final Premier League game of the season is against Liverpool, who will face at Wembley in the cup final. Come on, you Saints. Walker-Peters finds Suleimana, and there's Marcus Leonardo. Flag stays down, and the Brazilian opens the scoring once again. He has been in great goal-scoring form towards the end of the campaign, and this is why I said in the previous game, I have faith in him, giving him a full pre-season, a full season at the club as well. Of course, he joined towards the end of the summer transfer window, so he missed the first few games of the campaign. Next year, he's going for that golden boot, man. Goal news from the Etihad, as Wolves have gone a goal up. Nobody wants to win it on the final day. Oh, what a ball, Harry Kane, and Diaz misses. That is a big surprise because he's one of the top scorers in the league. But yeah, Chelsea and City both going a goal down. Man, if we hadn't bottled it in the last couple of games, then maybe we'd still be in with a chance. But nah, it's done, Sam. Just leave it. Just leave it. It's gone. As Marcus Leonardo drills in our second. And I think that might be goal number 18 of the season in the Premier League. He scored quite a few in the Champions League as well. He's probably scored around 25 in all competitions. It's been a good first season for the Brazilian. And as I say, next year he's coming for that golden boot. A goal at the Etihad. What's going on? As Man City are 2-1 up, as Martin will go into the book for that. So we've no idea what the score is at Chelsea. As far as we are concerned, Chelsea remain a goal down, but that's probably not the case. Are Manchester City going to do it on the final day once again? That will be absolutely crazy if they do. We've got 25 minutes left to play, and we'll find out what the final results are. Dozy into Stein, looks for Marcus Leonardo. Jacob Greaves to beat, onto the left peg and rifles it in. I feel so much more confident in front of goal with this man now. It is back-to-back hat-tricks to close out the season. Scored 3 in our previous home game, the last home game of the season, and now a hat-trick at Anfield as well. 6 goals in the final 2 games. What a way to close out the season for Marcus Leonardo and the Saints. And there is the whistle at Anfield. A brilliant way to close out season 4 of the Save. Annoyingly, we fell away at the worst possible time and just ran out of steam, fighting on 3 fronts. And we just couldn't, we couldn't fight on all 3 in the end. And the Champions League lost to Manchester City and then falling short in the Premier League. But we've got the chance to redeem ourselves in the FA Cup in the next episode. The season finale of the Premier League completed here with a nice win over Liverpool, who we will meet again at Wembley for the FA Cup final. So we'll close out today's episode by taking a final look at the Premier League table, where, as you can see, Chelsea did turn it around to ensure they were crowned Premier League champions. Manchester City also won at the Etihad against Wolves, but it was in vain as Chelsea win, I believe, their 2nd Premier League title of the Save. Man City couldn't do it back to back, and in the end we finished, what's that, 7 points behind the eventual winners Chelsea, with a little collapse at the end of the season. But we'll be back next year. I said we wanted to be in a title race. We scored plenty more goals this season, and for Marcus Leonardo, those back-to-back hat-tricks got him to 20 league goals in 31 appearances. If we keep him fit all of next season, I'm telling you, he's coming for that golden boot, and Southampton are coming for the Premier League. But that will do it for today's video, guys. We'll be back in the next episode to conduct a full season roundup, of course, after we have the FA Cup final, where once again we'll be facing Liverpool, expecting a tougher test than what we just had in the league with that comfortable victory. But Marcus Leonardo in great form heading into that. And I'm really looking forward to starting season 5 of the Save with the Saints. But before we get there, one more big performance needed in that FA Cup final. I'll catch you for it very soon, guys. Take care and peace.